Sarah and I met in the most ordinary way, stuck in the same elevator during a power outage at our office building. She joked about the universe forcing us to talk, and for years I believed it was fate. We married in 2015, bought a house in the suburbs, and had a son, Ethan, who inherited her laugh. Life felt like a warm blanket, until it didn't. It started with the yoga retreat. Sarah had never been into yoga, but suddenly she needed a weekend in Sedona to find herself. I packed her suitcase, noticing the new lingerie she'd bought, black lace, tag still on. "For the resort spa," she said, kissing my cheek. But when she returned, the lingerie was gone, and her phone was glued to her palm. One night, Ethan spilled juice on her laptop. I went to wipe it and saw an open tab, a confirmation email for a couple's massage in Cancun. Under guest name, Mark Stevens. My stomach dropped. Mark was her ex from college, the one she'd drunkenly admitted. She'd almost married at a barbecue years ago. I confronted her in the kitchen, my voice shaking. "Who the hell is Mark Stevens?" She froze, then laughed, a sharp, hollow sound. "You're jealous of a work client? Pathetic." But her hands trembled as she poured wine, sloshing it over the rim. The next morning I checked her Instagram. A photo from her retreat, a sunset captioned "Rebirth." I zoomed in. Reflected in her sunglasses, a man's arm, a tattoo of an anchor. Mark had that tattoo. I spent hours scrolling Reddit threads like "R infidelity," reading stories identical to mine. One comment stuck. "When your gut screams, don't mute it." That night, I did something I never thought I'd do. I opened her iPad. Her messages synced instantly. "Mark, miss you. When's the next retreat?" Sarah, "Soon. He's clueless." The screen blurred. Clueless. For days I walked around like a ghost. I made Ethan's breakfast, drove him to soccer practice, smiled at the neighbors, all while Sarah's words looped in my head. "He's clueless. Clueless." The word carved itself into my ribs. I started digging. Not because I wanted proof, but because I needed to hurt. I combed through old credit card statements and found charges for a hotel in Cancun dated 6 months earlier. A work conference she'd sworn was mandatory. There were charges for roses, champagne, a couple's cooking class. Reddit users had warned me. Cheaters follow patterns. They're lazy. One night, Sarah fell asleep watching Netflix. I slid her phone off the nightstand, heart pounding, and crept into the bathroom. Her Instagram was logged into a secret account. Wanderlust, Sarah Private. 12 followers. The posts were a punch to the gut. Photos of her and Mark, hiking in Sedona, toes buried in Cancun sand, a selfie in a hotel mirror with his shirtless reflection smirking behind her. The captions were worse. "Finally, living my truth. Love doesn't need a timeline." The oldest post was dated 2 years ago. I vomited into the sink. The next morning, I hired a PI named Frank, a grizzled ex-cop Reddit's R infidelity community swore by. "I'll get you what you need," he said, chewing a toothpick. "But you ain't gonna like it." 3 days later, Frank called. "Meet me at the diner on 5th. Bring cash." The envelope he slid across the booth felt like a live wire. Inside, time-stamped photos of Sarah and Mark at a motel 30 miles away. The last stop in. A dive with flickering neon and stained carpets. My wife, in a sundress I'd bought her, laughing as he pinned her against a car door. But the worst photo was the last one. Sarah, holding a toddler. Our toddler. A little girl with Mark's narrow eyes and Sarah's smile. Frank tapped the photo. "Kid's about 18 months old. Born right after that Cancun trip, huh?" I couldn't breathe. Sarah had visited her sister for a month 2 years ago. Came back glowing, said she'd found peace. All while carrying his child. That night, I confronted her in the garage, the photos trembling in my hand. "Who is she, Sarah? Who the hell is she?" For a second, her mask slipped, panic, guilt. Then she crossed her arms, cold as January. "You're hallucinating. That's my niece. Your sister lives in Ohio. This was taken last week." She slammed her fist on the washer. "Stop stalking me, you psycho. You're traumatizing Ethan." Our son's name was a knife twist. Ethan had been crying himself to sleep for weeks, asking why Mom kept going on trips, I snapped. "You have a kid with him. Was Ethan ever enough? Or was I just practice? She froze. Then her eyes turned to ice. Get out. What? Get out. You think I'd let a jealous lunatic near my son? I'll call the cops. I laughed. A raw, broken sound. Your son? He's ours. But she was already dialing. The cops arrived in 10 minutes. Sarah stood on the porch, arms crossed, as I stood barefoot in the driveway holding Frank's envelope. Officer Ruiz, a tired-looking woman with a buzz cut, glanced at the photos, then at Sarah's flawless poker face. Ma'am, is there a reason you're denying him access to his son? Sarah's voice dripped honey. He's unstable, threatened to hurt us. You see how he's obsessing over these fantasies? She gestured to the photos of her and Mark like they were junk mail. Ruiz turned to me. You got somewhere to stay tonight? I nodded, numb. My buddy Greg's couch. Again. As I threw clothes into a duffel bag, Ethan clung to my leg, sobbing. Why are you leaving? Sarah pried him off, her nails digging into his tiny shoulders. Daddy's sick, she whispered. He needs to get better. The door slammed. I sat in my truck for an hour, replaying Ethan's screams. Reddit's Our Divorce Men group became my lifeline. User Broken Dad 92 warned me, document everything, she'll weaponize the kids. So I did. Notebook entries, audio recordings, screenshots of Sarah's secret Instagram. My lawyer, a no-nonsense woman named Rita, said it wasn't enough. We need hard proof of the affair, and that kid's paternity. Meanwhile, Sarah played martyr. Her Facebook posts oozed faux grief. Pray for our family during this difficult transition. Our neighbors brought her casseroles. My own mother texted, Are you sure you're not overreacting? Then came the custody hearing. Sarah's lawyer painted me as unhinged. Your Honor, Mr. Carter stalked my client. He's fixated on delusions about a secret child that doesn't exist. I slid the motel photos toward the judge. That's my wife with Mark Stevens. The child is theirs. Sarah's laugh was silk. That's my niece. I've shown you her birth certificate. She had, a document listing Mark's sister as the mother. But Rita leaned in. Your Honor, we request a paternity test for the child. Sarah's mask cracked. Absolutely not. That's harassment. The judge, a stoic man with crow's feet, steepled his fingers. Granted, if the child isn't yours, Mr. Carter, prepare for consequences. The test took 3 weeks. 3 weeks of Sarah forgetting my custody days, of Ethan sobbing during Zoom calls, of Mark's smug texts. Let it go, man. You lost. Results arrived on a Thursday. Rita called, her voice tight. It's a match. The kid's yours. Mine. The room tilted. Sarah had gotten pregnant during our marriage. But how? We'd barely touched each other for years. Then I remembered our anniversary trip to Napa. One drunken night, her initiating for the first time in months. I want another baby, she'd slurred. Now I knew why. Rita was still talking. She committed fraud, Jason. We can nail her. But all I heard was Ethan's voice on a voicemail. Daddy, when are you coming home? Mommy says you hate us. I drove to Sarah's house, the paternity test crumpled in my fist. She answered in yoga pants. The toddler, my daughter, clinging to her leg. Her name's Grace, Sarah spat, and you'll never see her. I stepped inside, my voice shaking. You used me, got pregnant just to trap me into staying. She smirked. You think I wanted another kid with you? Mark didn't want a baby. But you? You're desperate to play hero. The confession hung in the air like poison. I lunged, not at her but at the mantel, our family photo, taken days before her first retreat. I smashed it against the wall, glass exploding. Grace wailed. Sarah dialed 911 screaming. He's attacking us. But I was already gone, speeding toward the highway, the photos, jagged edges cutting my palm. In the rearview mirror, I watched her hold Grace, my Grace, and realized this war was just beginning. Sarah didn't waste time. By morning, a restraining order landed in my inbox. Jason Carter poses a violent threat to Sarah Carter and the children. Attached, A photo of the smashed family portrait, my bloody handprint on the wall. Her caption to the court. He's unraveling. Rita slammed her coffee cup on the desk. She's framing you as abusive. We need to counter now. But how? My savings were drained from legal fees, and Sarah's parents bankrolled her lawyer. I sold my truck, downgraded to a rusty Corolla, and moved into a studio apartment reeking of mildew. The only decoration? Ethan's crayon drawing of us fishing, salvaged from the garage trash. Reddit's R support for the betrayed kept me sane. User TruthSeeker77 advised, record every interaction, she'll slip up. So I bought a hidden pen camera. The first supervised visit with Ethan shattered me. He shuffled into the visitation center, eyes glued to his shoes. Sarah had cut his hair, my little boy's curls gone. Mommy says you broke our house, he mumbled. I knelt, fighting tears. I'd never hurt you, buddy. Never. He flinched when I hugged him. The social worker, a bored 20-something scrolling TikTok, glanced up. Language, Mr. Carter. No discussing the case. But Ethan clung to my sleeve. Where's Grace? Why doesn't she live with us? Sarah hadn't told him. Of course, she's your sister. But Mom's keeping her away, the social worker snapped. Visits over. Desperation breeds stupid choices. I drove to Mark's apartment, a luxury high-rise downtown, confronted him in the parking garage. You ruined my family. Was it worth it? He smirked, adjusting his Rolex. Sarah's a firecracker, huh? But here's the truth. She chased me, sent me the first text, sent me the lingerie pics. He leaned in, breath reeking of whiskey. You know what she calls you? The backup plan. I swung, he ducked, laughing, as his phone recorded every second. Assault charges'll bury you, buddy. Enjoy prison. The video went viral on Facebook. Crazed dad attacks innocent man. Sarah's lawyer pounced. Emergency custody hearing. The judge denied me all visitation. Your instability endangers the children, he said, slamming the gavel. Sarah cried theatrically in the front row, Grace on her lap. My daughter, now in a frilly dress, clutching a doll I didn't recognize. As I left the courtroom, Mark winked. That night, I broke. Reddit user BrokenDad92 messaged me privately. Dude, get a burner phone. She's tracking you. Too late. At 3 a.m., fists pounded my apartment door. Police. Sarah's voice screeched through the wood. He stole Grace's medical records. He's obsessed. Cops cuffed me, paraded me past neighbors. Pedophile, someone hissed. In the patrol car, I replayed Rita's warning. She'll fabricate crimes to erase you. But the worst was yet to come. Jail was quieter than I expected. No screams, no clanging bars, just the hum of fluorescent lights and the ache of concrete beneath me. They'd charged me with felony theft, trespassing, and cyberstalking for accessing Grace's medical records. Sarah's masterpiece. She'd used my laptop to hack the pediatrician's portal, then called the cops. Rita visited, her face grim. She planted a VPN trail. It's airtight. They're offering a plea deal. 6 months in exchange for dropping custody claims. I stared at the wall. What happens to Ethan and Grace? She'll erase you. Terminate parental rights. Mark's already playing house. The guard tapped his watch. Rita slid a burner phone across the table. Hide this, and read it. The cell reeked of bleach and despair. Under the thin mattress, I found Rita's note. Jason, a woman named Clara, reached out. Sarah's ex-friend, says she has proof. Call her Clara, Sarah's college roommate. They'd had a falling out years ago, over a guy, Sarah claimed. I dialed, hands shaking. Finally, Clara hissed. I've been trying to find you. Sarah's a monster. She did this to Mark's last wife, too. My pulse spiked. What? He was married before. Emily. Sarah and Mark had an affair, got caught. Emily divorced him, took the kids. Sarah tried to frame her for neglect. Same playbook. The room tilted. Why tell me? Because Emily's dead. Clara's story unraveled like a horror movie. Emily, Mark's ex, had fought for custody of their 2 boys. Sarah sent anonymous threats, fake CPS reports. When Emily won full custody, she overdosed on sleeping pills. The case was closed as a suicide. Emily didn't take pills, Clara said. She was allergic. Sarah's dad's a pharmacist. Connect the dots. I gripped the phone. You have proof? Emily's sister does. And there's more. Sarah's not done with you. The line went dead, days blurred. I replayed Clara's words, Rita's warnings, Ethan's voice. Then, a guard barked. Carter, visitor. It wasn't Rita. A woman in a black hoodie sat in the booth, her face gaunt. Emily was my sister, she said, sliding a USB drive through the slot. Security footage from her house. Watch it. The video was time-stamped the night Emily died. A figure in a baseball cap, Sarah, slipping through Emily's back door. 20 minutes later, fleeing with a syringe. Emily's sister leaned closer. She'll kill you too, or your kids. Get out while you can. That night I made a deal with the devil. I called Rita. Take the plea, 6 months, but first, leak the footage anonymously to the press. They'll bury it, she warned. Not if it's tied to Mark's suicidal ex. Make it go viral. The gamble worked. By morning, Chuck Justice for Emily trended on Twitter. Reddit's True Crime dissected the footage. Look at the shoes. Sarah Carter wore those Nikes in her Instagram post. Reporters ambushed Sarah. Did you murder Emily Stevens? Are your children in danger? Mark fled town. Sarah's Instagram went dark, but in jail, I learned the cost. A new inmate, scars across his knuckles, sidled up. Your wife paid me to shank you, but I don't. Hurt kids' dads, he spat. Stay sharp, I didn't sleep again. The viral storm freed me. Protesters swarmed the courthouse with signs. Free Jason and Sarah Carter. Sociopath. Reporters camped outside the jail, shouting questions about Emily's death. The DA dropped the charges. Insufficient evidence, but the real reason was clear. Public pressure. Rita met me at the gates, her smile sharp. Sarah's panicking. Mark's in Mexico, and her parents cut her off. Now's our shot. First stop, Ethan's school. The principal blocked me at the door. Sarah withdrew him, said they're relocating for safety. My chest tightened. Where? She hesitated. They boarded a flight to Puerto Vallarta this morning. Mark's there. I sprinted to the parking lot, Rita yelling after me. Jason, stop! You violate the restraining order, she'll destroy you. But I was already flooring the Corolla toward the airport. Reddit user Flight Tracker Pro DM'd me Sarah's flight details. Gate 14, departing in 20 minutes. I wove through security chaos, my hoodie pulled low. Spotted her at the Starbucks near the gate. Grace in a stroller, Ethan slumped beside her, clutching a stuffed dinosaur I'd bought him. Sarah hadn't seen me yet. I dialed her number, watched her frown at the screen. Blocked. Then I texted from a spoofed number. Your Uber is outside, she cursed, glancing around. Stay here, she ordered Ethan, wheeling Grace toward the exit. I slid into her vacant seat. Ethan's eyes widened. Daddy? We're going on an adventure, buddy. His hand felt impossibly small in mine. We were almost to the parking garage when Sarah's scream echoed. Thief! He's kidnapping my son. Airport cops tackled me. Ethan wailed, kicking at their shins. He's my dad. Let him go. Sarah snatched Ethan, her face twisted. You'll rot for this. But I grinned, blood trickling from my lip. Check your email. Rita's masterpiece. A custody order signed by a judge 2 hours prior, granting me emergency guardianship. Sarah's arrest warrant for Emily's murder scrolled on the cop's phone. Ma'am, you need to come with us, an officer said. Sarah backed away, clutching Ethan. You think I'd hurt my own kids? He's the monster! Then Grace's stroller rolled slightly, revealing the burner phone taped beneath it, still recording. Live streaming to Justice for Jason. The video spread like wildfire. Sarah's snarls, Ethan's cries, Grace babbling "Dada" as Sarah yanked her away. Commenters erupted. She's insane. Those poor kids. By nightfall, Sarah was in custody. Protective orders reversed. But when I brought Ethan and Grace to my studio apartment, the victory felt hollow. Ethan stared at the stained carpet. Is mommy going to jail forever? Grace, now 2, clung to my neck, her breath milky and warm. My daughter. She needs help, I whispered. But we're safe now. At 3 a.m., a call woke me. Clara, breathless, Sarah posted bail. Mark wired the money. They're coming for you. I barricaded the door, clutching a baseball bat. Ethan and Grace slept fitfully on the mattress. Footsteps creaked outside. A key jiggled in the lock. Sarah had a spare. The door flew open, but it wasn't Sarah. Mark stood there, a syringe glinting in his hand. Time to finish what she started. Mark lunged, syringe aimed at my throat. I swung the bat, cracking his wrist. The syringe clattered to the floor. He roared, tackling me into the kitchenette. Dishes shattered. Grace screamed. Ethan, suddenly awake, hurled his dinosaur at Mark's head. "Leave my dad alone." The distraction gave me an opening. I kneed Mark in the gut, grabbed the syringe, and jabbed it into his thigh. He froze, eyes wide. "Heroin," I hissed. "Or just a sedative?" He collapsed, twitching. Sirens wailed outside. Clara had called 911. Sarah was found 2 blocks away, pacing near a parked Uber. In her purse, a forged passport, cash, and a vial of fentanyl. "For the kids," she told cops, to keep them calm during the flight. The DA added attempted murder and child endangerment to her charges. Mark, facing extradition from Mexico, turned on her to save himself. Emails leaked. Sarah plotting. Emily's death, drugging me during our anniversary trip to get pregnant, even faking Grace's paternity test. Reddit exploded. User LegalEagle77 dissected the case. This is Lifetime movie-level evil. But the real victory was quieter. Ethan, Grace, and I moved back into our house. The court stripped Sarah's rights, granting me full custody. The first night, Ethan asked to sleep in my bed. Grace curled against my chest, her tiny fist gripping my shirt. The scars didn't vanish. Ethan wet the bed for months. Grace panicked at the sound of sirens. But we rebuilt. One night, I found Ethan drawing at the kitchen table. A stick figure family. Me, him, Grace, and Max, the golden retriever. No Sarah. "Where's Mom?" I asked carefully. He shrugged. "She's the monster under the bed. We don't talk about her." To the viewers, if you've made it this far, thank you. This isn't just my story. It's yours too. Maybe you've been cheated on, gaslit, or had your kids weaponized against you. Maybe you're still in the storm. What would you have done? Would you have fought harder? Walked away sooner? Let me know in the comments. For those still trapped in the chaos, document everything. Trust your gut. Survive. This channel isn't just about my pain. It's about our collective healing. Check out my video, How I Rebuilt After Betrayal, and Co-Parenting with a Narcissist, a Survival Guide. Don't forget to subscribe. The algorithm hates small creators, but you can beat it. Stay strong, keep fighting, and remember, no one gets to rewrite your truth. End of story. Thank you for watching. Your support turns our pain into power.